Hello YouTube! Underachiever here. Today I'll be posting the first video in a long series of lightsaber duel reviews I have planned. Since this is basically a pilot, I'll keep this one fairly brief, as I'm mostly just making this video to test out the format. Because this is a review, a lot of what I have to say shall be rather subjective, and much of it will simply be my interpretation of what is displayed on screen. I'll be backing up this interpretation with information about the characters provided by both the original Star Wars Expanded Universe, as well as the more recent sources from Disney's new continuity. As you can already tell from the title, today I'll be focusing on the duel that took place between Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul on the desert planet of Tatooine. This was one of the shortest duels from the movies, lasting for less than a minute, so there won't be all that much to discuss. With that said, let's jump straight to the review. Before doing any analysis on the actual battle, it's always important to look at the context. Knowing each character's goals, advantages, disadvantages, and other details goes a long way to helping us understand why a battle might play out the way it does. In this case, both characters' motivations are fairly straightforward. The scene begins with Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin rushing to the Queen's ship on foot, with Anakin proclaiming he's tired. As he states this, Qui-Gon turns around and spots Darth Maul, rapidly closing in on a speeder. Telling Anakin to drop to the ground, Qui-Gon pulls out his lightsaber and gets ready to meet the Sith assassin head-on. Darth Maul flips off his speeder, engaging the tired Jedi Master in a fierce duel. Qui-Gon's main goal here is obviously to stall the assassin long enough for the Queen and the others to escape. Maul, on the other hand, is determined to cut down anyone in his path to slay the Queen of Naboo, and is eager to test his training against a Jedi Master. In the future, I'll be using this segment of the review to talk a little more in-depth on the actual duels, giving some detail on what I feel is going through the characters' minds, and the tactics they employ. However, since this duel happened so suddenly, was exceptionally brief, and the characters have no history with one another, there's really not all that much to analyze. Regardless, I will be trying my best with what little this duel provides. This duel kicks off quite explosively, with the Sith assassin leaping from his speeder and lashing out against Qui-Gon. After defending from this attack, the Jedi Master tries to take the offensive, buying time for Anakin to reach the Queen's shuttle. However, Darth Maul does not let Qui-Gon maintain this initiative, and quickly unleashes a fierce Form 7-driven assault against the Jedi. Qui-Gon is forced into a steady retreat, struggling to defend against the Sith's furious onslaught. The Jedi is worn out from his run back to the ship, and is too tired to employ his preferred style's typical tactics, which leaves him unable to mount a proper counter-offensive against the Sith. Darth Maul capitalizes on this, and uses quick blade work and elaborate acrobatics to gain the upper hand. However, Qui-Gon is still able to hold the Dark Lord at bay long enough to escape. In my opinion, every good lightsaber duel in the Star Wars series should have some sort of lasting impact on the stories and characters. This should be the case regardless of whether the duel is 10 minutes long or less than 1. The lasting impact from this duel is fairly minimal, but important nonetheless. Up until this duel, the Sith had been believed extinct for nearly 1,000 years. As Darth Maul put it, with this battle, the Sith had at last revealed themselves to the Jedi. However, it wouldn't be until the conflict on Naboo, where Qui-Gon lost his life, that the Jedi Council was ready to believe in the return of the Sith. Another key detail to any lightsaber duel is obviously the presentation of the battle itself. While the story may be the most important aspect overall, the choreography, cinematography, and musical score are what make the duel memorable and fun to watch. The choreography here is quite enjoyable in my opinion. This was our first real glimpse at the new style of choreography, after nearly 2 decades had passed since the last Star Wars movie was made. The choreography wasn't nearly as flashy as the later duels in the prequels, staying much more grounded and sticking to fairly basic swordplay. However, it was still more energetic than the duels from the original trilogy. There was a bit of pointless spinning here and there, though it was quite downplayed compared to later duels in the series, and thanks to the cinematography, it wasn't all that obvious. This is all supported by the outstanding score provided by John Williams. The musical selection here is fast-paced, memorable, and just as intense as the lightsaber duel itself. The song may not be as recognized as something like Duel of the Fates, Battle of the Heroes, or the Imperial March, but it's a great song nonetheless, and one I never grow tired of hearing. The only real flaw with this duel, in my opinion, was actually more of a deliberate choice on the part of the director. As I mentioned before, the cinematography covers up some of the flaws of the duel. However, it also obscures a good portion of the action. Between the tight camera angles that sometimes don't even focus on either combatants, and the large amount of dust kicked up by the two duelists, much of this battle is a bit tough to make out. Combined with how brief this lightsaber duel is, this tends to leave the audience wanting more. This, of course, was almost certainly done on purpose, to further hype the lightsaber duel that takes place at the end of the movie. All in all, the presentation is beautifully done for its intended purpose, though the end result does make the duel a tad forgettable in the grand scheme of things. On the whole, I'd say this duel earns itself a solid 6 out of 10. The setup is a bit lacking since the characters don't really have any history with each other, and there wasn't much to build the tension before this duel. The duel itself, while intense, is fairly brief, and a bit one-sided due to Qui-Gon's exhaustion. The battle itself doesn't have too much of a lasting impact, as the Jedi Council doesn't even accept the return of the Sith until after the death of Qui-Gon. The real saving grace of this duel was the choreography and the score, which are always fun to go back to. That's it for this review. Sorry it's a bit late. Between technical difficulties and scheduling, it's been tough to complete this video, but the next one should be a bit more punctual. I'll be doing my best to upload another one of these review videos every other week, and uploading a different type of video on the weeks in between. Once I get into a nice routine, hopefully these videos will have a set schedule that you can look forward to. Until then, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to press the like button. If you have any thoughts or questions pertaining to this video, or perhaps ideas you'd like to see for future videos, please leave me a comment. And of course, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and keep your eyes peeled for future content.